Today on Phinside The NFL, man, we smoking on that Jalen Ramsey extension victory lap pack, baby. We'll explain that. Also, I'll be previewing the Jacksonville Jaguars and Miami Dolphins Week 1 matchup. We'll go over my keys to victory, my matchup to watch, and so much more. Please do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into this.
Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, man open, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's going over the touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We're back here for another one as I welcome y'all in to this Week 1 preview show, which is powered by BetUS. Shout out to BetUS. Link in the description below. Man, wow, huh? All you Patreons and all you channel members, I know you're sitting back doing the Birdman hand rub, because on July 29th, I told all of you that I heard, and then I dropped it publicly on the channel a week later. I told you I was hearing Jalen Ramsey was in line for new money. No one really made a big deal out of it. Then I got information a couple days ago that he was going to be the highest paid. Then the Surtain money hit. And then, Ricky was tweeting out that Pretty Ricky's back, if people don't know. He was tweeting out that it was Ramsey was going to be the highest paid. People were saying he meant Surtain. I was telling everyone, no, he means Ramsey. Ramsey's the guy getting paid. And we're going to talk about it all because I know contract details before Surtain's deal. And I mean, listen, I can show you texts where I knew he was getting 24.1 API. Right? And, I knew this was going down. And also, obviously, when I had my 3 takes, I had a Patreon update and I had a channel member update this week. And I told them this was I was hearing they were trying to get this done a few days ago before practice started. But then I also said this will get done before the Jaguars game. That's literally what I said. This will get done before the Jaguars game. And sure enough, here it is. It's done. Again, no one had anything teasing this or remotely indicating this was a possibility before I did it July 29th. July 29th was the first time you can hear any Dolphins media, YouTube, Twitter, whatever member talk about this. All right? So, I'm taking my victory lap today because I've been saying this is going to happen since July 29th. All right? This is like a month and a half in the making for me. So I'm taking my victory lap today, baby. That's what we smoking on that Jalen Ramsey extension victory lap pack, baby. That's what we're doing. All right? So, man, shout out to Jalen Ramsey. We're going to get into all the details, every single thing regarding it. I'll break it down. I'll give you some more information regarding it. Well, let's give you some information right now, whatever, before we even get to, bring it up here. So this is what I had heard. This is what was the deal. All right? The night before their Surtain contract extension, right? I had heard that the Dolphins and Ramsey had agreed to a new deal. And the number that I had heard was $22 million per year. And that was originally what we were going to be sitting on here with Jalen Ramsey getting paid. The number that I originally heard was $22 million a year. And it was going to probably be announced the next day. The problem was the next day, the morning started off with what? Right? It started off with, because it's so basically what I heard was September 3rd, $22 million a year. That's what had been agreed upon. The next day, the morning starts off September 4th with Patrick Surtain's new deal. And then it's at $24 million. And I heard right away, Ramsey wants $24.1 million. And that's where we're going here. That's where we're heading here. And that this had caused a snag in the situation. They weren't going to announce him at $22 million after Surtain just got 24. It wasn't going to happen. So that's what happened. That's what the deal was. 22, they came up to 24.1. And yeah, I am going to victory lap because I had people, members of the Dolphins media in my DMs telling me he's missing practice right now because he's injured. It's not new money. They just restructured him. They just gave him a restructured deal. He's making the most on the team this year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was telling them, no, this is going down. They want to get it done. They wanted to get it done before practice on the 4th. They couldn't get it done. So yeah, when I got members of the media in my DMs telling me, no, it's because of injuries, missing time, and I'm telling them, yo, I've heard the injury's minor, but the major holdup is he wants to be paid. And then what happens today? He's back at practice. And also, if you're trying to knock the player, he is not slow. Jalen Ramsey has not lost the athleticism, the agility, or the speed. What are you watching? Yes, he's getting older, but dude, this guy is going to go the same route as like a Charles Woodson. He is going to convert to a safety full time. That's exactly what. No, I didn't get apologies. I got, yeah, you were right. That's what I got. Yeah, you were right. That's what I got. Was not a, hey, I should have listened to you, blah, blah, blah. And I end up hitting them back and saying, hey, I'm not like these other jabronis out here. You need to start trusting me here. It was a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. He has a minor injury, but the holdout was because of the money. They were very close. He wanted to get paid. People, like, he had 3 void years after this year. He had no guaranteed money after this year. And after what just happened with Connor Williams, you don't think the players have learned their lesson? Yeah, but he's not a safety yet. Right now, he is a corner and top 3 corner in the NFL. Just tell us you don't like Jalen Ramsey, bro. Stop trying to move the goalposts. Just tell us you don't like Jalen Ramsey. My God, he's the best leader we've had in this building. He's a better leader than what Xavier Howard was. I like Christian Wilkins and thought Christian Wilkins was a great leader. Jalen Ramsey's a better leader. Jalen Ramsey was going to bat for players last year to Vic Fangio, and because he had won a championship in an offshoot of Fangio's defense, which Fangio hadn't done yet. And he ended up being right. So Jalen Ramsey is the leader this locker room needed. Now we've added Calais Campbell and Jordan Poyer that up that leadership value. Jalen Ramsey's that dude right now. He's a top 3 corner in the NFL, and you're going to see him playing out of the nickel. You're going to see him playing in the box. You're going to see him playing on the perch. You're going to see him playing on the boundary this year. Ramsey is a dog, and you are going to see him moving around and making plays this year. He's going to look even better than what he looked on last year's team and last year's defense. Jalen Ramsey going to ball out this year. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey, man. That's my guy too. That's my guy. I love the person. Jalen Ramsey is a fantastic person too. All right. He is an absolute fantastic person. All right. So, shout out to Jalen. I'm a fan. A bigger fan since he came here. I was always a fan of his game before he came here. bigger fan of him. Now I can, I just got great things to say about him. So shout out to Jalen Ramsey. Good dude. Knight says, this was a great move. People saying unearned. He even worked scout team during practice. Unlike X's ass, who was more worried about strippers. Where's the lie? Knight's right, man. I mean, I'm telling you. Ramsey was the leader we needed. And I'm telling you, Tua's coming into an offensive version of him as a leader. And I'm going to be honest with you. You guys can call it corny. You can say whatever. These two have a pretty good bond, and it starts with, their faith. They hold a lot of faith in God, right? And, they're legitimate God-fearing Christian men, and they are very, very deep in their faith. And, and I can see Tua starting to turn into Ramsey a little bit in terms of how he conducts himself as a leader. I'm not talking about, like, personality. I'm talking about how he conducts himself as a leader. You can tell. So, shout out to Ramsey. He was the dude we needed in this locker room. Calais Campbell, he's up there. Jordan Poyer, he's up there. Taron Armstead, he's up there, right? So, because, you got Tyreek's a good leader, but, I just think Ramsey's one of the best leaders on this team. So, and, Robert's got it right. If you like the Ramsey extension, smash that like button. If you like and enjoying the victory lap, baby, all right? We had this since July 29th. We were on top of this, all right? No one on any platform was indicating that this extension would go down before me. No one. You can't name a person. So we taking that victory lap, baby. Gotta love it. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. You know what? And you know what? Shout out to the Miami Dolphins. All right? They are just, taking care of their guys and their leaders on this team and their foundational pieces for the next 3-year window. That's what they're telling you, that we got another 3 years after this. That's what this extension tells us. We got another 3 years. They're projecting out another 3 years into this current window. All right? So listen, I expect multiple playoff wins, but that tells you if we win one game this year, that's a start. You know what I mean? Shout out to Michelle. She says, love our team this season. Can't wait for Sunday. Are you going to be in attendance, Michelle? Lucky you. Shout out to Michelle. Met her at training camp. Absolutely fantastic woman. Just an overall fantastic, kind-hearted human being. And the world needs more people like Michelle in it. So shout out to Michelle. 29 months she's been a member of the channel. Almost 3 years. Appreciate you, Michelle, so much. All right? So much. Appreciate you. We ain't dysfunctional. Hallelujah. We ain't dysfunctional anymore. I'm telling you, man, guys are getting paid. Guys are getting taken care of. Guys got a chip on the shoulder from last year. Man, people are... Here's the thing. Guys are happy, but they're also... All these guys are still motivated. It's not like no one we've paid is sitting back and being like, yeah, I'm good. Waddle, he's motivated because he wants to prove he's just as good, if not better than Tyreek. Tyreek's motivated because he wants to be the best receiver ever, and he has another 1,800-yard season. He's getting an 1,800-plus yard season. He's getting an uncharted territory. Jalen Ramsey is just a dog. He just works and gets after it. He just wants his team to take care of him. We've taken care of him twice now. I want Jalen Ramsey to win a championship in Miami or two, and I want him to go into Canton as a Miami Dolphin when he gets that gold jacket. And Scotty says David Long is next to be paid. Listen, in that same July update, David Long is a person I've been hearing they've been trying to work an extension out with. So I've been hearing extension talks going on with David Long for a few months now. Randy Constant says 13-4, baby. Let's go. Let's go. I believe. But look at all these guys are getting paid. Tua, Tua gets paid the most, and he's got the biggest chip on his shoulder to prove everyone I'm worth this. I'm telling you, man, this is the recipes are mixing for a big season concoction for this team. I'm just saying. I am just saying. So let's get into it. Let's start off. Of course, like I said, this video is sponsored by BetUS. All right. And you know what? You need to go over to betus.com and you need to go take the Miami Dolphins on the spread or on the money line right now. They are the favorite heading into this weekend's game over on BetUS. All right. And I mean, BetUS, they are just doing fantastic stuff. No longer will they match your first 3 deposits by 125%. No. Now they will match your first 3 deposits by 150%. Up to $2,000. So they've upped the percentage. All you got to do is use code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. And you will get your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 matched by 150%. And shout out to BetUS for supporting the channel, for sponsoring this show. Just remember, everyone, please do me the favor, gamble responsibly. You got to go smash the point spread and the money line on the Dolphins this week, and go get into some of those player props too while you're at it. All right. So all that said, let's get into this. So I was busy. I was dealing with stuff. So there you go. The Dolphins, an all-pro cornerback, Jalen Ramsey, have agreed on another huge extension, this time a 3-year, $72.3 million deal to make him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL again. The $24.1 million per year deal was negotiated by David Mulletta and Athletes First. Let's go. And, now he does have a minor injury with the hamstring. Ramsey talked about that, said, this is the first time I've ever had a hamstring issue today. Now he did practice on a limited basis after this deal came through. And he said, we'll see here when game day gets here about my day availability. This is a different thing with a hamstring, that he's never dealt with a hamstring. And remember, we got to play 2 games in 5 days, so we want him as healthy as possible. Like, if he doesn't play this weekend, I think he's suiting up for the Bills game. Like, he's not missing both games. It's just not happening. So, but Jalen Ramsey, he got paid. Taron Armstead was in the background while he was getting interviewed, making the cash signs and just flying it. And like I said, I heard originally on September 3rd, a deal had been agreed upon, and it was around $22 million a year. The problem was September 4th happened, opened up with Surtain getting his new deal, and automatically Ramsey and Athletes First went back and said, okay, we want to top that. What have they done here, right? Tua topped Jared Goff, $212 million. Tua got $212.1 million, right? Now you got Surtain getting topped, $24 million by $24.1 million. Right? So, listen, they're taking care of their players right now. I mean, and McDaniel talked about the extension today, and he said, that he's happy that with everything the organization has done this offseason because it fits what they're about. And, and he goes on about how Jalen is a different level of a player, how he's a leader this team benefits from. He gave him a lot of props, and Jalen Ramsey deserves it. I'm telling you, you guys don't know the impact of Jalen Ramsey in this locker room. All right. You know what? Let me tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to put it out there. All right. Because it's been over a year or whatever. Jalen Ramsey, the reason why I'm so high on Jalen Ramsey is me and Jalen Ramsey have had communication through Twitter DMs dating back to after the Titans game. Okay? After the Titans game, I made my takes. All right? Jalen Ramsey jumped into my DMs regarding my takeaways from the game that I put on Twitter every day after a game. Jalen Ramsey hit me up and he didn't agree with something that I said in the takeaways. And, you know, I told him, hey, man, I hadn't watched the All-22 yet. I'm going to watch the All-22, blah, 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 blah. And then we had a discussion. And we just had a discussion about, you know, the community, all right? And he told me, you know, like, keep doing what you're doing. You know, a lot of people, you know, he said a lot of the players watch what goes on, whether it's on X or YouTube. They know, they hear the chatter. Not every player, but players hear the chatter, right? And I can tell you right now, the team itself, since back in the day, has always hired interns to listen to everyone and watch everyone, whether YouTube, podcasts, whatever. Anyways, you know, he was just a really nice guy, and we've talked a few times since, and he's just a fantastic person. And he jumped into my DMs as a leader of that team, and he just said, you know, they see the people that are negative in this community. And he said, we need more positive people, you know, people like you and stuff like that. And he said, just keep doing what you're doing. He was just a fantastic guy. You know, you remember last year I hinted that a player hopped into my DMs and, you know, I didn't mention it, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's why I'm so happy he got this extension, because that right there, and he was so polite. Like, he could have been one of these players that puts y'all on blast or whatever, and he just hopped in my DMs. We talked about what he disagreed with. I told him what the deal was on my end, that I had to watch the All-22, and then when I did watch the All-22, I told him what I thought, etc., etc. So, you know, I'm just happy Jalen Ramsey has been signed, because I think he's a fantastic leader. Listen, I'm telling you this right now. That team, you know, as much as the fans think they wanted to win out and handle business and win a playoff game, let me tell you this right now. That team was feeling it after the Titans game. All right? You know, just from our conversation, that team, they wanted more than us fans wanted to vindicate that Tennessee loss. Now, it obviously ended up not happening because the injuries just piled up way too much. But trust me when I tell you, you know, they were not happy after that Tennessee game. All right? They were not happy. So, you know, just shout out to him. Shout out to him. He's always been so kind to me. And he's always been a good dude whenever I've hit him up and, you know, either told him something or, you know, just talked to him, whatever. He's just been a good dude since the rip when he hit me up. So shout out to Jalen Ramsey, man. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. All right. Now, that said, none of the information I got in July regarding a contract, none of the information I got this week, nothing was from Jalen Ramsey. I don't ask players about that kind of stuff. I'm not a prior like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like that. So, I just want to make that also clear as well. Nothing that I got was from Jalen Ramsey at all, but by any stretch of the imagination. So, but yeah, shout out to Jalen Ramsey. You know, I want him to retire a Dolphin. I want him to win a chip here, so when he gets that gold jacket, he goes into Canton as a Dolphin. All right? That's what I want. Because that's an elite. He's going to go down as one of the greatest corners of all time. And I want him to go in as a Dolphin. That's just it. I want him to go in as a Dolphin. So, shout out to Jalen Ramsey. I'm here for it. And listen, it is what it is, man. You know, go get that money. You deserve it. Trust me, he deserves it. With his play and how he is in that locker room, there ain't a better guy that you could give that kind of money to. All right? And now, Ramsey's new deal features about $55.3 million in guaranteed money, according to the NFL Network right now. All right? So, remember, it's about $72.3 million, and it's about $55.3 of that guaranteed. So, shout out to Jalen Ramsey. Get that bag, son. You've been a stud since Florida State. You're the first cornerback in NFL history to get a $100 million contract. Right? Let's go. I'm good with it. I'm happy. Our players are happy. Our players have been taken care of. And shout out to Chris Greer. Shout out to Brandon Shore. Shout out to Stephen Ross for opening up the checkbook. Shout out to y'all for taking care of the core foundational pieces of this team. This stuff matters. This stuff matters right now, man. And now it's up to these boys to deliver. And I believe they will. And Ramsey said today, it's always important to feel valued, get paid for all your hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. It's money. I got kids. My kids are happy. My family is happy. And he said, ever since I've gotten here, it's been a great relationship, a growing relationship. They've learned a lot about me, not only as a player, but as a person. I've learned a lot about them, how real they are, the men and women around this organization. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey, man. I might go get a Ramsey jersey this year just because I'm feeling it so much. Finally, he's replaced the Finkel 5. Now we no longer wear number 5 with Ray Finkel on the back. Now we can wear it proudly with Jalen Ramsey on the back. Let's go. And shout out, Coach AJ's right. Stephen Ross, he wants a ring so bad. Shout out to Ross. I hope we get him a ring, man, because he's opened up the pay. He's opened up that checkbook and making it able for us to do a lot of things here. All right. So let's get into everything this weekend. All right, let's get into it all. We got a lot to talk about, all right? Now, first of all, I know people like Jennifer are going to be going out there. I know the homie Ghost of Adam Gase is out there already. I know there's a lot of people of you who live locally who are going out there. So, this is what you're looking like in terms of, this is what you can expect for your weather report. Now, there is a chance of thunderstorms. Partly cloudy with a low around 80. Little bit of wind. Now, the precipitation probability is only about 27%. Up here, we take it seriously when it's like 40. Humidity is going to go from 66 all the way to like 70. It's going to be 88 down to 87, but it's going to feel like it's 100 at kickoff, all the way down to 98 degrees, and I'm not talking about a boy band in the fourth quarter. Holy Jesus. It's going to feel like 100 at kickoff. Man, let me tell you this. All of y'all warned me when I came out for training camp about the heat, and I never got to live through it. Thank God I didn't have to sit in 100-degree weather. That's all I know. And on the menu, like Robert Thompson says, is broiled Jaguar. Man, I know they're wearing their aqua jerseys with white pants. So we're either going to do all white or aqua pants on white jerseys. Rhino says Jags are used to hotter. Jacksonville is much hotter than Miami. So that's what you're up to this weekend. For all of you heading out to the game, and just, stay hydrated. If you're going to drink, a couple dozen beers, drink a couple dozen waters, you're just going to be peeing a lot. So be prepared for that. But that's what it's looking like. Some cloud cover too, right? You're going to have about anywhere from 38 to 43% cloud cover during the game as well. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the weather report. Now, let's head on over. Here's the injury report. This is the latest injury report as of today. Malik Washington is out. You smell that? Smell that? Smell that? Smells like a elevation happening at wide receiver this weekend. Malik Washington is out this weekend. Did not practice today. He's been limited all week. He's got a quad injury. This is just ridiculous with the injuries at receiver right now. Jalen Ramsey, would you look at that? Did not practice, gets paid, and he's limited. Go figure. But I said, if you don't play this weekend, I think you can definitely see him playing Thursday if he misses this weekend. Everyone else has become full, from Quentin Bell to Aaron Brewer, Javon Holland to Benito Jones. The vet rest. Anthony Walker is good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Walker is good to go. Jordan Poyer, good to go. Jalen Phillips is a full participant. He's good to go. Let's go. Jalen, Ogba, Quentin Bell, Chop Robinson, Mo Kamara. All of a sudden, we got everyone healthy except Bradley Chubb. Oh, baby, oh, baby. And you'll see why that matters later when we get into my keys of victory. All right. Over on the other side, Jacksonville Jaguars, they're fully healthy, basically. Fully healthy. But there you go. Malik Washington is the only player we know for sure right now is out. Jalen Ramsey, he said it himself. Jalen Ramsey is going to be a game day decision. But like I said, I heard the hamstring is minor. It was more so he was out holding out. It was a minor hold-in as well because of the money. They were that close, right? So originally had agreed to $22 million when on September 3rd. And then on September 4th, the Patrick Surtain news broke. And all of a sudden that changed things. And the number I was hearing ended up being the number it was. And I've got text messages of me texting people, yeah, I'm hearing 24.1. I wish I put that information out there, but just know that I knew it was 24.1. So, and a few of us in this community did know. So, yeah, there you go. In the honor of the J-Ram number 5 extension, baby, heading down on the bright line right now. Go Fins. Keep up the great work. Reason. See you Raiders weekend. See you too, Sean. Listen, Sean, I need your opinion right now. I'm going to tell you my situation. I'm coming in for that Raiders game. I'm flying in on Saturday. All right? I'm either going to fly into Fort Lauderdale or I'm going to fly into Orlando with the fam. And then we're going to go get situated at the Disney resort. And then I'm going to go back to the airport and hop on the bullet train. Would you recommend the Bright Line bullet train? How long does it take? Does it take about 3 hours? What would you recommend in terms of taking that Bright Line? I appreciate you, good sir. I hope you are doing well. Go follow Sean and the work he does. He does fantastic work for the environment. All right. He is one of Douglas' sponsors. He's a great guy. Always supports the channel. Always supports me. Always has my back. So shout out to Sean. Go show him some love. All right. Go show him some love. He's doing great, great work for the environment, man. Let alone what he does for the Dolphins community with guys like me and Doug. Michelle says, remember the very long 7-hour game versus the Titans? We watched the 4 p.m. games in the stadium before our games concluded. Man, what's with the Titans always being an issue for us, eh? Whether it's the Flores era, the McDaniel era, what's with them always being an issue? What's the always being an issue? Everyone's saying Bright Line's a blast. It isn't bad. It's just horrible leaving Miami. Nobody cares if they're late leaving. You'll be good on the train, dude. Take the Bright Line. You'll get here in 40 minutes. Yeah. The deal with that is basically I'm either going to be coming down with ball game from Orlando, taking the Bright Line from Orlando down on Saturday, or I'm going to fly into Fort Lauderdale while my family flies into Orlando. The thing is, I don't know if I want to leave my kids and my wife. Like, I would rather help my wife get the kids situated at Disney and then get down to Miami. But my wife, she said, hey, if you want to fly into Fort Lauderdale, do that. And then you can take the Bright Line back on Sunday after the game. Either way, I'm coming back Sunday after the game to Orlando. So I'm going to go with Ball Game. Ball Game said he was going to buy the tickets this last weekend. He didn't buy the tickets. So, just saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Great plan. Yes, Brightline leaves on the hour. 2 hours, 55 minutes to Fort Lauderdale. No traffic, no rain, no stress. Just Wi-Fi, smooth ride, and drinks. I can help you out, bro, with plans. Appreciate you, Sean. Yo, Sean, shoot me an email. Phinside All right, I appreciate that. Just because if I got to navigate that, I'm the type of person where I like to contact and talk to someone who's done it before. So, I don't get there and I'm like a chicken with my head cut off looking for where to go, et cetera, et cetera. So I appreciate that, sir. Get the wifey situated on and then take the Brightline down, bro. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, I appreciate you. Hey, Daddy Dean, I appreciate you, though. Email me, FinsideTheNFL@gmail.com. Kids would love that. Yeah, the wife is testing your reason. Set her up before you leave. I know. Honestly, I'm dreading. Just think about it. I got to take a, 2.5, 3 hour flight down from Toronto to Orlando. Then I got to get our bags, whatever gets situated. Then I got to hop on a 3-hour train. I'm just dreading that day's travel. That's all. I feel like I'm going to get into Miami or Fort Lauderdale at night. I'm just going to end up crashing. I'm not even going to go out and, hit the town and meet up with people and stuff. And I want to meet up with people. You know what I mean? So, but I agree with you. I agree with you, sir. Oh, you ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying. You are not lying. All right, so let's look at how these teams compare. Now, this is from last year, right? So these are how these teams compared last year, right? Yeah, the number 1 total offense in Miami, number 1 passing offense, number 6 rushing offense, number 2 scoring offense. All right, number 4 in sacks allowed, only allowed 31. And the number 7 third down offense going against the number 22 defense and total defense, the number 26 passing defense, the number 9 rushing defense from last year, the number 17 scoring defense from last year, 25th in sacks. Now, they were 8th in third down defense last year, which is decent. They were also 8th in takeaways. Both teams were. They both had 27. So, defensively, they weren't that great last year. Now, obviously, they've upgraded, right? Like, they added Arik Armstead. You know what I mean? I think that's a big add to that defense, especially in run support. I think that's a fantastic move for them. But, you're talking about one of the more deadlier pass rushes too, right? Another year of Travon Walker growing. Josh Hines Allen had 17.5 sacks last year, right? Everyone knows they signed last year that middle linebacker I wanted, right? Foysad Oliukin, right? I love him. They've got Chad Muma. I mean, they're other than their secondary, they're pretty decent. You know what I mean? On defense. Now, when you look at them offensively, they were the 13th ranked offense. They had the number 9 passing offense, the number 24 rushing offense, number 13 scoring defense. They were 16th in sacks allowed. They allowed 41. We'll talk about why that matters. They were 17th on third down. And remember, the Dolphins last year had the number 10 total defense. We were 15th against the pass, 7th against the rush, 22 scoring defense, which wasn't great. And that's because we had some games where we just let it get away. We were number 3 in sacks. We had 56, right? We were the 20th third down defense. We were 8th in takeaways, and both offenses gave the ball away a little bit. Jags were 28th. We were 21st. 30 giveaways for the Jags, 25 for us. Now, offensively, they've added Mitch Morse and Brandon Sheriff, right, to their offensive line, so they're hoping that makes them better. They've also added Brian Thomas Jr. through the draft to that receiving core, but they lost Calvin Ridley. They got Gabe Davis, right? And they've got Devin. Their basic top 4 guys are Devin Duvernay, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, and Christian Kirk. So, and then obviously they've got Evan Graham as well, right? So, yeah, they got a decent team. So, and their O-line is decent, right? Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, Mitch Morris, Brandon Sheriff, Antoine Harrison. Their O-line's decent. It's a lot more stable than ours, especially at the guard positions between Sheriff and Ezra Cleveland, right? So, but that's how these teams compared coming off last year. obviously things have changed. You know what I mean? Like, we are in a different era right now for both teams, right? Obviously, Fangio's gone for the Miami Dolphins. It's under Anthony Weaver now. So another year with McDaniel's offense is only going to be even deadlier. So, man, it's just exciting stuff. Also, for all of you, listen, there's 2 pieces. I'm waiting on them to come in. I was going to debut my new background this weekend. It's all set up. It's ready to go. I'm just waiting for 2 little pieces, 2, what do I call them? 2 finishing touches to my background, and they're must-haves. I'm still waiting for them to come in the mail. So hopefully I can get it going for the Thursday night game. But hey, if it arrives today, then I'll be doing it. Or if it arrives tomorrow, I'll be doing it. But that new background, it's ready to go. It's all set up. I even got a new camera that I'm not even using right now. I'm using my older camera for it. We're good to go. So I'm itching to debut it for all of y'all. So it's coming. All right. Now, let's get into my keys to victory for this weekend's game. All right. Offensively, you got to protect the pigskin. This is a big point. I'll tell you why. You know why? Check this one out. You guys want to hear something? Listen to this one for you. All right. Trevor Lawrence is 1-18 when his team doesn't record a turnover. Think about that for a second. Trevor Lawrence is one win, 18 losses when his team does not recover a turnover. They don't force a turnover. They don't recover a turnover. So you protect the pigskin. Historically, this tells you you're going to win. Trevor Lawrence is 1-18 when his defense doesn't record a takeaway. So, no turnovers, baby. Protect that pigskin. Number 2, expose a subpar secondary. Who scares you? I know Andre Sisco has looked decent in camp apparently this year, but they added Ronald Darby. Okay, and Darnell Savage, please. Antonio Johnson, please. The only guy who I think is remotely good there in their secondary is Tyson Campbell. You should be able to light these guys up. Tyreek, Waddle, whoever the third option is, Jonnu Smith, they should be able to have days. They should be able to have days against the secondary. That's where I think they're going to run into problem. Our secondary is far superior and can handle the Jags passing game. Their secondary is just not that great. So, to me, expose that subpar secondary. Hell, you do these 3 offensive keys, you'll win the game. Don't even worry what you do on defense. No, well, as long as you don't give up like 60 points. Number 3, unleash the 3-headed running back monster and ride the hottest hand. Brother, I want to see Achane in the slot. I want to see Achane on the boundary a little bit. I want to see Achane coming out of the backfield. I want to see Wright get some touches. I want to see Moser get some touches. You need to unleash this trio. Don't even waste your time handing the ball off to Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm serious. Do not even waste your time handing the ball off to Jeff Wilson Jr. Unleash the 3-headed monster and ride the hottest hand. So, like I said, you protect the pigskin. You don't turn the ball over. Trevor Lawrence is 1-18 in starts where his defense doesn't record a turnover. All right? You've got a secondary that's just waiting to be feasted on by Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Achane if he's lined up as a receiver, etc., etc. Let him have it. And then, obviously, let that 3-headed running back monster go, and whoever shows you the hottest hand, ride them. Ride them till the wheels fall off, baby. All right? Now, let's get into my defensive keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. Number one, you got to contain Travis Etienne. All right? You know, Travis Etienne makes a lot of things go on this offense. He just does. All right? He's been an absolute stud since they drafted him. All right? You know, I drafted him. I think he's going to be great this year. You know, he's coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. All right? Now, he had 1,008 yards last year on 267 carries. He had 1,125 yards the year before. But I'm not just talking about that. Last year, he had 476 receiving yards as well. The year before that, he had 316. So if you do the math, he's coming off back-to-back 1,400-plus years of yards from scrimmage. You're talking about a guy with back-to-back seasons, 1,400-plus yards from scrimmage in each season. You got to contain Travis Etienne. You got to. And we got to see what this run defense is like right out the gate. Number two, the pass rush needs to get to Trevor Lawrence. Did you know that Trevor Lawrence has 21 fumbles in the past 3 seasons? That's the most in the NFL. All right? That was the most in... that's the most in the NFL over the last 3 years. I think the closest to him is like 14 or 15. 21 fumbles in 3 years from Trevor Lawrence. That pass rush needs to get there. We're not even getting into the interceptions. We are just talking about his ability to hold the football. Right? We're not even talking about the fact he's thrown 39 interceptions. You know, he threw 14 last year. He threw 17 as a rookie. He threw 14 last year. So we're not even getting into the interceptions. This guy is a fumble machine. 21 fumbles in 3 seasons, most in the NFL by like a wide margin. And number 3, you got to lock down in the red zone. And this is where Evan Ingram comes into play for me. All right? Jacksonville has a guy like Evan Ingram. He had 2 touchdowns on only 6 red zone receptions last year. So that means a third of his red zone receptions were touchdowns. Miami last year was 28th in the NFL in defense red zone touchdown rate. They allowed a touchdown rate of 64.8% in the red zone. That was 28th in the NFL. Don't forget, they've added the speed of Brian Thomas Jr. Christian Kirk is already a 4-4 guy. Remember, Brian Thomas is a 4-3 guy. Gabe Davis, he had 3 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown in week 4 last year against the Dolphins when he was with the Buffalo Bills. And Etienne can run and catch out of the backfield in the red zone. So you got to lock them down when you get into the red zone. You got to be a better red zone defense than you were last year. You cannot allow a touchdown rate of 64.3% like you did last year. 28th in the NFL. That's just not good enough. You got to be better in that red zone. So, and I think that's where a guy like Evan Ingram comes into play. I really do. You know, like that's where I think he could potentially do you some damage. So you gotta be on your P's and Q's. You gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. Half of his touchdowns last year, he had 4, came in the red zone. So contain Travis Etienne, all right? Back-to-back 1,400 yards from scrimmage seasons. The pass rush needs to get there. Trevor Lawrence has 21 fumbles in the last 3 years, most in the NFL. And you got to lock down that red zone. You got to be better than that 64.8 defensive red zone touchdown rate, which was 28th in the league in 2023. And Ingram had 2 red zone touchdowns on 6 red zone receptions last year. And that was half of his touchdown output. So you got to lock down in the red zone. You got to lock down in the red zone. It's just what it is. Now, matchup to watch. Could I do Etienne against the front 7? Yes, and I thought about it. Really, really, really big. Could I do our offensive line against their pass rush? Sure, I could have done that. You got to go where the money is, though, baby. Matchup to watch. Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence. Their second NFL meeting. Their second meeting since the 2019 National Championship where Clemson beat Alabama. All right. Tua, Trevor Lawrence, and, listen, you know why we're doing this too, because this is something we talked about. These are 2 guys that just got paid, right? These are 2 guys that just got paid. They done been paid. And, a lot on the line for both of these guys to open up the season. The Dolphins cannot afford to start off 0-1 in the season at home, right? Both guys have legitimate chips on their shoulders because they know what's on the line with them being paid, right? And that's just where we're at. And you look at them head to head up until this point, right? Obviously, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, they beat the Dolphins last time they met, right? So, can we even the score in terms of the win column? Right? Can we make up for that 23-20 loss that we had to them back in 2021? We'll see. But you look at this, 53 games for Tua to 50 for Trevor Lawrence. You look at the record, 32-19 for Tua, 20-30 for Trevor Lawrence. You look at the completion percentage, Tua's winning that, 66.9% to 63.8%. You look at the passing yards, more yards for Tua, 12,639 to 11,770. You look at the pass per yards attempt, almost a full yard larger for Tua. Passing yards per game, about 3 yards in favor of Tua more, 238.5 to 235.4. Blowing him away in pass touchdowns, 81 to 58. He's got less interceptions, 37 to 39. You look at the the passer rating, 97.1 for Tua to 85 for Trevor. Now, Trevor's obviously been a more effective rusher by a mile, right? But when you break down the numbers, Tua Tagovailoa, he has been leading the way in terms of individual statistics. And hey, I don't want to hear anything about, they went out and got Calvin Ridley for this guy. They went out and paid Christian Kirk all that money for this guy. They went out and look at the offensive line they've built. They got Mitch Morse. They got Brandon Sheriff, right? They had Cam Robinson in place for him, right? They drafted Anton Harrison for him. They drafted Luke Fortner and Walker Little as well. They've even drafted Javon Foster now, who made my big board. They went out and acquired Ezra Cleveland. They've done more work to make sure Trevor Lawrence is protected than the Dolphins have for Tua, right? They went out and they drafted. We just haven't started drafting running backs until these last 2 years. But they went out and they got Travis Etienne from Clemson. They got his boy, right? They drafted him Brian Thomas this year after they lost Calvin Johnson, right? They've done things for Trevor Lawrence since he came into this league. I don't want to hear any excuses. Remember, Tua started off throwing to guys like Trevor Lawrence hasn't had to throw to the Lynn Bowden Jr.'s and the Malcolm Perrys of the world and make it work. Or the Devontae Parkers, the damaged goods. So I'm just saying, I am just throwing that out there. Jalen Ramsey gets paid, though, baby. Gotta love it. Yeah, Ridley left. He just left the Jags now this year. He just left. Literally just left. So, but Tua elevates Tyreek to stuff he wasn't able to do with Mahomes. And yeah, they had Travis Kelce over here, but we got Jalen Waddle over here. So there's always been a second option in both situations. He elevated Tyreek Hill to what he's doing. Calvin Ridley was not elevated by Trevor Lawrence the way Matt Ryan elevated him. Just saying. I've said it before. I can make a better case of Tua elevating talent than Trevor Lawrence does. So, let's get into my prediction here. How do I see this game going? How do I think this goes down? I am going to take the Dolphins winning this game 31-17. That's where I'm at with this game. I'd see 31-17 Miami Dolphins get the victory, get the dub, start off the season the right way, the way we wanted them to. And I got a feeling that, it is going to be a beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. All right, it is going to be a great day to be a Dolphin fan. We're going to start this off with a dub over Jacksonville. That's how I see it going down. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit before I get out of here about yesterday's game. First of all, I got a few things to say. All right, for the opening game of the season. All right, first of all, the glazing of Xavier Worthy. All right. The glazing and the overhype. I mean, 67 yards from the line of scrimmage, a rushing touchdown on an end around that was perfectly blocked where he never got touched, and then a receiving touchdown on massively busted coverage where Marlon Humphrey thought he had help over the top and let him go. And he was wide open. Mahomes made the throw. Guys, was he consistently winning contested balls at the catch point? Was he consistently having to beat physical jams and press off the line of scrimmage? So, again, good start for the kid, but he did nothing to alleviate the concerns of his size and what is going to be required of him in crunch time big games. Like, let's say Rashee Rice to me had the bigger game. Rashee Rice should be talked about more. He was fantastic. All right. Now, I know he shouldn't have been playing based on what he did this summer, but Rashee Rice looks like he's going to be a big time player this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. What happens if Hollywood Brown's out and Rashee Rice gets suspended? And now Xavier Worthy's constantly got the one on him, constantly has to take on the physicality and win contested balls at the catch point. I don't believe it. And I think everyone's sleeping on Rashee Rice's performance. You have to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. KC is still the favorite in the AFC and maybe the first NFL team to ever three-peat. They just find ways to win. Mahomes wasn't even lights out and they still put up 27 points. Isaiah Likely looks like he's not only ready to be the number one tight end in Baltimore, but also take on the bulk of the receiving duties. Lamar's inaccuracy cost Baltimore the game. He had multiple misses throughout the game. That would have been touchdowns, including those two big ones on the final drive to Likely and what we thought was to Flowers. The throw we all thought was a second touchdown missed to Flowers. Though, the one in the end zone on the final drive, not the underthrow earlier in the game where Zay beat his man and was gone for 6 and Lamar underthrew him. It looked like he expected Flowers to get open and sit in a soft spot, not keep running. Then he says post-game it was meant for Bateman, who he thought would stop and sit. My Lord, terrible read. Bateman? Come on. Oh, my God. And I'm going to say, everyone who wanted Lamar in Miami, like I said then, I'll say again, accuracy is way too spotty from the intermediate to deep levels. He doesn't throw with anticipation. Timing and tight window throws are not a strength of his. He's just not a fit for what Miami's offense needs and expects to be executed at the quarterback position. So, you know what? Excited to see what happens tonight between the Packers and the Eagles in Brazil. Again, is anyone really shocked that they're doing an international game in such an unsafe situation? Is anyone shocked after what we saw them put fans, players, and the media through in that unsafe situation last year in the playoffs with the coldest game ever between Kansas City and the Miami Dolphins? But they wanted Taylor there and they wanted the views, right? So there you go, 31-17. I got the Dolphins winning. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Appreciate BetUS for being the sponsor of this channel. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you on the next one. I'll be live on Sunday. Live reaction, and then from 7:15 to 8:15 at the end of the 4 o'clock games and before the night game starts, we'll have the post-game show, and we'll talk everything that goes down this Sunday. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. Love all y'all. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Fins up all day, every day.